The end. The end of Game of Thrones. Not just season 8, but of the whole series. The whole series. This is my review of Game of Thrones season 8, episode 6. My final review of this. Let's get into it.
Aleisha review Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones. Aleisha review Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
What them say, people? What them say? Can you believe it? We have now reached the finale of Game of Thrones. Not just the finale, but of the whole series. It's done. It's finished. After 9 years of fantastic television, we have been given the finale of Game of Thrones season 8. Yes, that's why I've doled up today. I think I'm like one of 7 people in the world that isn't upset with this ending or this season, but it's all good anyway. Yeah, I know a lot of people are upset with this season, and you know, you're entitled to your opinion, as am I. But for me, I thought this season was fantastic. I mean, I wasn't that upset at all. Like, I understand the upset. I get it. I'm not going to be naive and act like I don't understand. And to be honest, even on something like, such as the length of this season, like, I believe that it could have been a bit longer. But them tired. I don't know about you lot with your petitions and that, but anyway, let's get into this review. We start the episode with Tyrion and Jon walking through, seeing all of the carnage and just what's left, which is nothing much, of King's Landing is absolutely decimated. Tyrion is just walking around like in disbelief. I think all of them are. Tyrion decides to part ways with the group and find them later on. He's going to look for his brother to make sure that he did actually make it out. But I think after he's seen everything and all the devastation on the ground, he realizes that the possibility and the chances of that are very slim. Tyrion goes along on his way, saying to Jon he doesn't need any protection from the men and he'll be going this route alone. Jon and Davos then continue to walk through, and that's where they see Grey Worm along with the Unsullied and some Lannister soldiers that managed to survive the madness. Now, Grey Worm is getting ready to execute them, and just as he is going to, Jon stops him and says, "What are you doing? We've already won the war. Like, what's going on? Like, what more do you want?" So Grey Worm lets Jon know that these are orders from Daenerys, and anyone that is affiliated with Cersei Lannister or fights for her needs to be gone. They need to be removed completely. So you see, Jon is just can't believe that these orders come from Daenerys. Obviously, he can see and tell that Daenerys is not stopping. She's making sure that all of her enemies are eradicated. Grey Worm and Jon proper. Davos also tries to talk Grey Worm out of it, but it doesn't work at all. And Jon and Davos just decide to pick their battles and keep it moving. And as he's walking away, you hear Grey Worm execute his first Lannister survivor. And yeah, Grey Worm is just not having it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. After that, we follow Tyrion, who manages to get to the Red Keep to look for Jaime, and he sees all of the rubble. Now, he goes down the steps as he instructed Jaime to do, and when he gets down there, he does see all of the rubble, and he starts to look for Jaime and Cersei. He then just sees Jaime's golden hand. He starts to remove all of the bricks, and yes, there he sees Jaime and Cersei together, and that's when Tyrion just starts breaking down. I felt so sorry for him. He tried to save his brother, but him brother no one save. Him brother won't go and sit with Cersei that you know. Do you understand? People like that, you can't save them. You just gotta let them do what they're doing, you know? The only thing that Tyrion probably helped with was helping him get to Cersei and being with her in her final moments. But I don't even think Jaime didn't mind dying, boy. As long as he was next to Cersei, which he got, he was fine. After that, we see Jon walking towards Daenerys up the steps. This is where we see all of the armies out. We see Unsullied, the Dothraki. Everyone's charged up, happy after winning the battle, waiting for their queen's announcement. We see Daenerys. She comes out now. I thought this scene was absolutely fantastic. The way that they had Daenerys walking towards the front to give her announcement, and the way Drogon's wings just winged. I said, yes, yes, what a shot. excellent shot. Daenerys then goes to give her speech and she's saying to the guys, yep, you kept your promises, you fought for me, like we're gonna do this now. We're not just gonna take over King's Landing, we're gonna take over the whole world. We're going this place, we're going that place, we're going that place. And it just makes you wonder, I see the way you took King's Landing. Are you gonna use this same tactic and approach for every place that you take? After that, we see Tyrion walking towards Daenerys, and for a split second, I thought he was going to push her down the stairs. The way he was looking and walking towards her, I was just like, The way Jon was looking at him, I was like, Tyrion, are you going to push this girl down the step? Daenerys, after her big speech, she's feeling real proud, like, you know, everyone's charged up. You see the Dothraki, whoa! See the Unsullied, boop, 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 boop. I was like, okay, Unsullied, they don't make no noise, they just see me done talking. Unsullied, yeah, done talking, yeah. Daenerys, she's there making her speech. She's upgraded Grey Worm. He's the master of war. Why? Because he's so ruthless, he don't give a damn. So she's made him head commander of the armies because he was just the bravest man in battle. He just doing the damn. So after that, when we see Tyrion walking up towards her thinking that Tyrion's gonna push her down the stairs, Tyrion makes it known like, listen Daenerys, I ain't part of your squad anymore. He takes off his pin, dashes that on the floor. Tyrion's like, yes, I freed my brother. And you killed thousands of innocent children, women, people. Like, Daenerys, like, if looks could kill, boy, the way she just looked down at Tyrion and she's just like, take him. Don't get me wrong, Tyrion's done his dirt, but Daenerys, she went full mad queen on us last episode. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still in complete shock. But after looking back, she has kind of always been on this thing. I know she's been on this journey to, you know, be better and be not a tyrant, be the best ruler, not be like her father, but it's like in her pursuit of doing that, it reminds me of Final Destination in terms of trying to stop something from being so or happening, you actually push it in that direction. And I think this is an example of what's happened to Daenerys. She's tried so hard not to be that person, but through the different situations and experiences she's been through, it still led her, as much as she has tried, it still led her to be that villain that she's tried not to become. After we see Tyrion resign, Arya pops out of nowhere. She always does this. She's really good at this, like this silent walking. I'm telling you, that training definitely helped, especially killing the Night King. She comes up next to Jon. Jon's like, Arya, what are you doing here? Arya explains that she was there to kill Cersei, but obviously Daenerys got there first. She also gives Jon a bit of a warning, saying, as long as you're alive, Jon, you're always going to be a threat to Daenerys. And Arya knows a killer when she sees one. And you got to listen to Arya, because Arya's top killer. After Arya and Jon have that chat, Jon goes to see Tyrion, where Tyrion says, you know, did you bring any wine? Jon's like, no, you know, Jon ain't about this life. Like, he's come to talk serious business, Tyrion. I'm not bringing you no wine, mate. Jon speaks to Tyrion, and Tyrion basically lets him know, your queen is not going to keep it rizzle. I believed in her to the point that I even got my best friends killed because of my loyalty to her. But you see that Daenerys, does it sound like someone that's stopping a war? No, Daenerys is ready to keep fighting and keep it moving, keep conquering. Jon tries to defend Daenerys, look at all the stuff that she's been through, because Tyrion questioned Jon and was like, listen, if you was in the same predicament, would you have done that rubbish? Would you have done that? Jon is like, I don't know what I would have done in that position, blah, 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 blah. Jon full well knows, and Tyrion knows that Jon knows. So Tyrion is like, honestly, Jon, would you have done it? No, you wouldn't have. So you know what you got to do. You got to eradicate the threat. Jon seems to be very down with Daenerys when he's speaking to Tyrion. Deep down inside, he knows that something isn't 100% right. So just before Jon is about to leave, Tyrion drops in, what about your sisters? That is the one thing that I think worked on Jon. Otherwise, he might have just left Daenerys to her devices. So in addition to Arya giving him a warning, Tyrion is also giving him a warning as well. And it's like, you kind of got to take heed now. When Tyrion drops that and says, do you see your sisters bending the knee? Do you think that she will have like the same kind of mercy on your sisters, knowing full well that Sansa has tried to get rid of her in some sort of way by giving Tyrion the information about Jon's true heritage. So after Jon leaves, he goes to visit Daenerys, and as he's walking, we see that Drogon wakes up out of nowhere, gives Jon a sniff, but because he knows that Jon is Targaryen, he lets him through. Jon goes and starts to speak to Dany, and Dany starts to talk about her imagining the Iron Throne, what it would look like, what it would be like, and her brother used to tell her stories about it, that it would be like 1,000 swords and it was really high, and now she's seen it's just this little thing, and it seems that she's got no remorse. There's no type of, oh my God, all these people died. There's no type of none of that coming from her. In fact, she's all telling stories, like giving herself the big up, like, yes, I'm the queen now. And I think Jon is a bit flabbergasted by it, because he's like, have you seen down there? There's thousands of people dead. Daenerys is fully gone now, like all what she was trying to do and achieve before. And I believe that if she hadn't have lost so many people in such a short space of time, that she might have been able to process it a bit differently. Oh, Daenerys, man. It's okay. I think it gets to a point for Jon where Daenerys is so just not caring about these people, and when he asks about, you know, if other people will be able to have a say in this, she was like, it doesn't matter, they're not gonna have a say, like, it's just all about me. That's when they embrace and they kiss, and I just knew it. I knew it. All we see is, yeah, Jon stabs Daenerys while they're kissing, and Daenerys is a goner. I thought she was gonna try and say something at least, but she was just, there was a part of shock on him as well, like he couldn't believe when she actually fell in his arms, like he could not believe what he had done. But there's a part of him that knew that he had to do this, and just like what him and Tyrion discussed about love over duty, is love the death of duty, or is duty the death of love? In this case, it appears that duty was the death of love. Tyrion did make the point when Jon came to see him that yes, although my sister was evil and my father was evil, if you put together all the people that they've killed, it wouldn't have even make up a quarter or 1/8 of what Daenerys done in a day. That just goes to show you the magnitude of how dangerous Daenerys could be. Jon did take all of that on board and ultimately killed Daenerys so that, you know, she could no longer reign. Just after that, we see Drogon, and it's like he's got some connection to his mum, because as soon as he came through, he saw that something was wrong. He saw her lying on the floor, and I felt a bit sorry for Drogon, the way he was just there like trying to see if his mum is gonna wake up and is still alive, but no, she gone, Drogon, she gone. And he just looked at Jon, and I thought, yeah, Jon's done. Jon is gonna be fire, bun, toast. But no, Drogon just went mad on the Iron Throne. He burnt that down till it was nothing. It melted. Now there's no Iron Throne. And Drogon, he's smart. I feel like he knows that the pursuit of all of this is what led to his mum's death, and he just wants it. I think it's another thing as well of like, right, if my mum ain't getting it, none of you lot is getting no throne. The throne's done out here. And you just see him pick up his mum with his leg, and oh, it was just so sad. He just flies off. I don't know where he's taken Daenerys. I don't know where he's taken her, but he's saying like, none of you people need to, no, I'm taking my mum. And off they went. You see Tyrion, it looks like he's been in jail for quite a while since Daenerys' death, and Grey Worm is escorting him out to see all of the other houses. So we've got Arya, Sansa with Bran, we've got Sam over there, we've got Uncle Ed, we've just got all of these faces. Some we know, some we don't. We've got Brienne, we've got Davos. Everyone's just there sitting down, and it looks like this is some sort of new political party, and it looks like they're going to basically give Tyrion a trial. Everyone's talking and they're trying to come to an agreement with the Unsullied. They've taken over King's Landing, so they're trying to come up with some sort of agreement in regards to justice for the death of Daenerys. As we're having this meeting, everyone's talking, discussing and deciding. We see Yara there. Yara says that, yep, Jon should be killed. Arya's like, listen, yeah, say another word. Don't mention my brother. Yeah, they know about the real truth of Jon's heritage. Now, I thought it was quite funny that none of them brought it up at the meeting when it was asked who should be king. They talk about Jon Snow, saying that Jon Snow should be freed. He should be coming back to the north with them. And for the Unsullied, it's not good enough. They want him dead. Sam makes a suggestion like, Everyone's there deciding. They're saying what should happen. There should be a new king. Tyrion even gets to speak. How are things going to run now that there isn't actually any queen? And that's when they start deciding and talking about how they're going to move forward, who's going to be the new king, who's going to be the new queen. Have they got any suggestions? Sam makes a suggestion that why is it only them that choose? Maybe everyone should choose. And the way everyone just started laughing, like, at democracy, it just needs to be the higher people that vote, like us lot that vote. Like, why should we give it to everyone? Everyone shunned that idea. And we see the Uncle Ed come through to try and make a speech, giving his reasons as to why he should be king. The way Sansa was just like, Uncle, sit down, please. Sit down. Because everyone knows he ain't being no king, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Like, Uncle, sit down. So after he got sat down, Tyrion speaks, and Davos basically asks Tyrion what does he think. And as a prisoner, really prisoners shouldn't be talking, but it's all a mess right now anyway, anything goes. And Tyrion just finesses the whole thing, tells everyone, listen, yeah, you know, we need this kind of king, we need that kind of king, we need someone that knows our future as well as the past. And yeah, Bran, I'm not gonna lie, even me, I was like, I was just as shocked as everyone that was actually there at that suggestion. I'm like, Bran? Ooh, Bran? Bran? Yeah, that's how I felt. Bran? I mean, cool, I understand, like, yeah, he knows the past, he knows the history and all of that, but now I was confused, like, I was absolutely confused. Everyone was like to Bran, yeah, I know you don't want it, but, you know, Bran's like, where do you think I came all this way? I said, Bran? Yeah, Bran, you knew all along. You must have known all along, because like Tyrion said, you can see the future, you can see the past. So what, you just let all them people get fun up so that you can be king? I hope you didn't have none, but we know that you had the vision because you saw the dragon going over King's Landing. So Bran, Bran knew, you know. We see that Bran is now the king of the 6 kingdoms. Why? Because Sansa was like, listen, yeah, the North should be its own independent kingdom. After everything that the North has been through, it should remain that it's independent. The end, like, go back to how it was. And before that as well, Sansa, you're out of order. Are you a bait up that Bran can't have you? I think she was a bit disgusted that Tyrion suggested that Bran be the king. Like, she was just like, he can't have children. I'm like, nah, Sansa, you're out of order. So Tyrion was like, exactly, he can't have children. So at least then that rules out all the oh, it needs to go to the heir of the throne. Like, basically, every time a new king needs to come in, we come here and elect them. That's how it should be going forward. That is basically going to be honouring our queen as well as helping the future, because our queen wanted to break the will. That would be us breaking the will by doing things in that way. So we've still kind of fulfilled her wishes. Grey Worm, I think he's just done at this point. He's just like, yeah, whatever, let me just get out of this people them country car. I don't see myself staying here with my unsullied crew, and to be honest, I want to go back to North because that's where my babes is from. So he's gonna head back over there. So they decide that Bran is now the new king of the 6 kingdoms, because like Sansa said, she thinks the North should be an independent kingdom. Now the Unsullied still want justice for the murder of Daenerys, but like we see, no one's gonna have that, especially not the Starks, and especially now not the new king of the North. He will definitely not have that. But what they do to make a deal so that there's no more beef with the Unsullied, or no new beef is created with them, is that they will banish Jon to the Night's Watch, and he will have to just stay there and live. Basically, he won't be coming back over to this side, and that's a decent deal for the Unsullied. They're like, all right, cool, that's fine. I know really the Unsullied they want to kill him. They want to kill him on sight, but I know there's bare politics and there's wars and all of this stuff, so they just allowed him. After the meeting, Tyrion goes to visit Jon. It looks like it's been a few weeks or months since Daenerys has passed, and Tyrion lets Jon know his fate and basically explains to him what they've decided. I don't think Jon seems too mad at that, to be honest. Like, obviously it's upsetting because he will be away from his family, but Jon's had enough, really, and I think the further north that he can go, he definitely will, because any time around here it's just always some politics, something, and you know, it's funny that no one ever found out his true heritage. No one ever brought that up either. They might have thought that it's a bit delicate bringing that up in the meeting because of what he's done. After that, we see Jon giving a farewell to Arya, Sansa and Bran. And this is the moment where you realise, to be honest, everyone, well, the Starks, they're actually all winners. One, they're all still alive. Two, they've all got some sort of pattern going on in terms of Sansa is now Queen of the North. Bran is now King of the Sixth Kingdom, not wanting to be king at all to now the Sixth Kingdom. Arya, you know, she don't want to be no lady, no nothing. She wants to go and travel, see what's west of Westeros. And Jon, he's going back to the Night's Watch, and when he goes back, he is then greeted by Tormund. Brienne, sorry, give this woman a medal, yeah? Brienne was such a lovely lady. She wrote down the rest of Jaime's story, because remember they've discussed it in the past, and he said that his page in the book is not completely finished and probably in there anyway. He's just known as the Kingslayer. But Brienne took the time to write down all of the fantastic, nice things that he managed to do before he went back to being idiot. Basically just gave him a nice send-off and was just like, oh yeah, he died protecting his queen, which I thought was really lovely. Like, thank you, Brienne. Lovely of you. Like, Jaime too, lucky. Jaime, lucky. Yeah, very lucky. After that, we go back and we see the meeting with the new and improved political realm squad. We see Davos, we see Brienne, we see Tyrion, who is now the hand to Bran. Bran has selected him as the hand. We see that Brienne is now part of the King's Guard. Podrick, he is pushing Bran, and Bran is in his kingdom, boy. Bran's up to it. He's like, oh, where's the masters? Where's this? Where's that? Where's the this of whisperers? Tyrion lets him know, yep, we're getting a team. We're getting all of this. All of this is going to be popping. We'll have all of this for you soon. And to be honest, this is the nicest ending I've seen of Game of Thrones. Like, everyone's happy. Everyone's, well, not everyone. It was bittersweet. There's hope of a new realm, a new political way of dealing with the Seven Kingdoms, a new way that's going to help everybody. So in effect, like, although a lot of bad had to happen, there will be some sort of good from it. And where Bran is now the king, and he doesn't think or operate in the same way the previous kings have, which have all been for more power, for more this, for more that. Whereas Bran, he doesn't really want anything. He doesn't want anything. So it would be more that he just wants to see everyone flourish and things to be great. I hope so, because Bran. After that, we see Jon leave the Night's Watch with Tormund and the Wildlings, and I think that's basically him. Well, I don't know if that was him saying, you know what, bun Night's Watch, I'm out of it, I'm going to live with the Wildlings, or if it was him just dropping the Wildlings off to their area. I hope that Jon said, bun this Night's Watch, bun this, all of this, bun this, I'm going to live like a wildling, because when he was living like a wildling, he enjoyed it. That was the most happiest I've seen him. I hope Jon's next woman, he doesn't have to kill her, be involved in her death of any sort of way. He could just love her. They have kids, and, you know, they have a nice wildling life. I think that's the best thing for Jon. And yes, that is the end of my review of Season 8, Episode 6, and the final episode of Game of Thrones. The series, it's over. I can't believe it. And yes, this episode was, I just think it was just, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another way it could have ended. I feel like all of the battles, we had all of that, we had all of those amazing scenes, and it's like, if another battle happened, we would be on a cliffhanger. It would never end, you know. And I think it was, you know, Daenerys had to be punished for that atrocity, and I think because it happened so quickly, everyone's just like, wow, like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, this season I would have enjoyed more. They should have made it 10, but when you see how much effort and work gets put into it, it's crazy. I understand, I get it. But yes, people, I'm going to give this episode 8 Woiiiii out of 10. I thought, and it was another great episode. The cinematography, the shocks, I enjoyed it even down to the end. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is this the worst season of Game of Thrones you've ever seen, or was this the best season? Let me know your comments below, and thank you so much for watching. You don't understand how much I appreciate it. Thank you guys for subscribing, for supporting, and yes, we've got a lot more on the way coming. Just because Game of Thrones is ending doesn't mean this channel has to. Done though. See you in my next video. Woiiiii.
Tell me what you want now, people. Hold on, let me break it down. I know you want that new. I know you need that sound. Well, let me introduce myself. Yes, I am that girl in town.